All right, welcome to the Perfect Strangers podcast inaugural first episode. We did a dry run, but that one wasn't so good. So
No, it wasn't.
I am your host Paul, and I'm here with my co-host Anthony. Tell us how we're doing, Anthony.
Hello, doing good today. Friday Day Podcast. How's everybody doing out there?
I have a sound for this. Hold on.
Hopefully
Say
you're
it
doing
again.
well.
Say it again.
Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you. Please, everybody. Please. We have a lot to get into today. Paul, you want to set it off? Our first topic?
Sure. Let's talk about the upcoming E3.
Ooh, I love video games. I love E3. Come on, let's get right into it. Smash 5, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, Smash 5. I believe Nintendo just released the roster of competitor players that will be playing at E3 this summer.
Yeah. It's your regular Smash faces, your competitive Smash faces. You got the guy that won last year. I forgot what his name was. But from Cuba. Wears a scarf all the time. He looks weird.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I'm excited. I think it's really interesting that the way they're gonna show us gameplay is through a competitive tournament.
Yeah, that's how they did it last year, right? With Smash 4.
I'm not sure. I didn't actually own a Wii U or a 3DS, so I wasn't really following that train.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Smash 4. I really enjoy it. One of the best Smash games to come out.
Oh yeah, it's nearly perfect. I mean, it's modern, it's sleek and shiny, opposed to Smash 64 and Melee.
It's balanced. It's got a character tier.
Yeah.
So
Brawl wasn't really based for comp play, and I feel like they changed a lot to lean Smash 4 towards that. But Smash 5, I mean, Nintendo's looking a lot to get into the competitive scene, the esports scene, I've heard.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of been Smash's niche, though, is competitive play.
Really, only with with your friends, but like tournaments, you see your Melee heads. They love Melee.
That's true.
They love going fast.
Interesting, actually, that the champion of the tournament for Melee, I don't think he's on the roster of competitors.
Really?
Yeah, the top player for Melee, I don't think he got an invitation from Nintendo to compete.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I know you got Zero, who was the guy that won last year. He's from Chile, not Cuba. He might have won. I think he won. Mango, another well-known one. I wish they had Mewtwo King. He's a true classic. You know what Mewtwo King is?
No, I do not.
He is notorious for his freakouts while he's playing in competitions.
So he gets salty?
Yeah, my favorite thing in competitions with video games is when people get really mad when they lose and they rip their controller out of the port on the console and they just wind it up around the controller really mad and then they walk out, stomp away.
Yeah, I like that too.
So funny.
I like that extra added moment.
Yeah, like you can't just walk away. You have your controller. You have to get that first.
I've seen that a few times. I've also seen people who celebrate too early and then out of nowhere there's a comeback.
That's when you get fucked.
Yeah, it's very true. You can't celebrate too early. I've seen it too many times. Then you get here comes the comeback,
That's what the fucking Wombo combo. Wombo combo. He ain't Falco.
That is true. It's true.
He wasn't Falco. Let's see what other games we got coming at E3, not just Nintendo. We got Borderlands 3 coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Did you like the Borderlands games? It was so loud.
Sorry, folks. I'm filling up some Coca-Cola in a cup.
You can't.
I do like the Borderlands games, but I never really owned them. I played like the co-op with my friends and my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
He owned them, but I really do like those games a lot. For me, I really fell in love with the co-op aspect of it, the online play and stuff like that. It's a great game, honestly. What's your favorite Borderlands?
I only played a little bit of the first one because the whole cell shading art style I wasn't really a big fan of. Then I played
Okay.
a bunch of Telltale, Telltale games, right? The company Telltale games.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have an art style with cell shading, and then I really like those games now. So I went back and played Borderlands, and it's pretty fun. I'm not a huge fan, but we'll see what happens with Borderlands 3. We
Yeah.
got Final Fantasy VII remake hitting the PS4. Are you big fan of Final Fantasy?
You know what? I actually am. The first Final Fantasy game I played was Final Fantasy VII, and that's because my brother had it on PlayStation, and back then, and save files and memory cards were a big deal, and he used to be like, "Yo, don't touch my game," but when he wasn't around, I'd be playing. Yeah.
Don't touch my game.
Yeah, don't mess with my save file. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got into that at a very young age, so I do like Final Fantasy VII. It's actually the longest Final Fantasy, if you didn't know. It's a
3.
two-disc game.
I've never heard of a game being on 2
3.
discs before.
Really? Yeah, Final Fantasy definitely is a great game. Final Fantasy VII. I like Final Fantasy IV as well.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
Wow, man. Are you into RPGs? That's a question I gotta ask you.
Good ones.
Yeah, there's a few Final Fantasy titles out there that are really good. Final Fantasies are like innovators in RPGs, I would say. So,
I'm more of like a Mother series kind of RPG player.
okay.
If that makes any sense. I don't know if there's a difference between the kind of RPG. Have you played Undertale?
Yeah.
Undertale's really good.
Well, Undertale's a little different from Mother and
But like
Earthbound.
barely. It's
Barely.
fairly similar.
It's just that they have the whole like gimmick going where you got the added like mini game stuff going on with the bosses, like hey, you got to get the meter in the
Yeah,
perfect
yeah, yeah.
place, or yeah.
Well, that's kind of reminiscent of the fact that in Mother 3 you could tap your button to the tune of the music and you could do extra damage.
That's true. That is also true.
Little meta game, if that even is what that means.
I mean, RPG is an RPG. So, you're going to get the same elements, the leveling up, all that stuff. The thing is, can you immerse yourself in that world of Final Fantasy? Do you enjoy being able to explore on a large overview map, a walk around to different towns, different areas?
Oh,
If you like stuff like that, Final Fantasy is good. 'Cause
Okay.
It's a huge overworld map, and then you got miniature towns within, and you get new weapons and meet new people, and there's new quests every time you go to a different place. So, yeah, if you're into that type of stuff, you should check out Final Fantasy.
have you seen the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2?
I actually have, and I love it. Great gameplay trailer. The new one you're talking?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah. That beautiful. I've been waiting for them to put out a gameplay trailer for a while now. I feel like this is what we've been missing. We want to see the capabilities of Rockstar's newest engine,
Yeah.
and now we're seeing it. I want to say it's a new engine because Red Dead Redemption, the first one was on a different engine than.
Well, yeah, it was on the Xbox 360. It came
Yeah,
out so
it
long
was-
ago.
It's a different engine than GTA 5, and I almost feel like they wouldn't want to use the 5 engine on Red Dead 2 because that, I don't know, like they're two different styles. Like in Red Dead Redemption 1, you shoot somebody in the knee and they crawl around on the ground. You do that in GTA 5 and they just, they kind of bleed out and
Yeah.
stay there. And I think that's the thing with the Wild West is that more gruesome graphic image is what they want to portray. So you're definitely going to be able to shoot someone in the arm and see their arm hang,
Yeah.
or be able to disarm someone by shoot them in the gun and their gun flies out of their hand. I think Rockstar is trying to go towards that.
Hmm.
Because the best thing they could do for Red Dead 2 is improve the way you duel somebody, like gun duels.
Yeah.
Like if you could really shoot like a hat off someone's head, or be able to shoot the gun out of their hand and stuff like that, it would change the realism of the entire series.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the goal for games these days. I'm actually watching the trailer right now, and I'm wondering to myself, like, how they left off in Red Dead Redemption 1. The main character, John Marston, spoiler alert, gets killed by a group of do-batters,
Yeah, the
angry townspeople.
World government, actually. Well, not world government. I guess
The world government
Yeah,
was
not-
after you the
not-
entire game.
not the world government. Maybe. It's definitely the U.S. government is after him.
And then Endgame, you play as his son, and there really isn't much Endgame unless you get the DLC, which is really good.
Yeah.
But
The only end game you get is that you can kill the guy who killed your dad.
yeah.
It's all a setup, Red Dead 1.
But in Red Dead 2, I was wondering, do you play as John Marston's son?
No, in Red Dead 2 you play, it takes 12 years, it takes place 12 years before the original. So you're playing as somebody who's part of a gang.
So it's a prequel.
Dutch's gang. John Marston's actually in the gameplay trailer, I believe, for the new one. There's a shot of young John Marston, and I think what 2 is supposed to do is let you know why John Marston is on the road to redemption in 1 in the first place, because you're playing as him, and he's a good guy. He's trying to do all these things to right his wrongs, but
But he's not afraid to shoot you if you do him wrong.
yeah, but why? Why is John Marston trying to run from his past and create a new future for his family so badly? What did he do wrong? I think that's what Red Dead Redemption 1 is essentially. 2 is essentially about. It's essentially about the messed up things that John Martin did do.
Yeah.
And the people around him, and the what was going on at that time. We're probably going to see, as we saw in the trailer, more train robberies and heist like that than you see in 1. In 1, you really just see John Marston handle problems given to him by the government,
Yeah.
the people around him. But I feel like 2 is going to be more about running your own shit, doing your own thing, being reckless, living the true Wild West life before that era came. Because the end of Red Dead Redemption 1 is kind of like the end of the Wild West. Things are starting to almost modernize.
Yeah. I mean, you got trains, you got towns, you got old-timey saloons with goons playing poker.
But 12 years ago, that's probably the...
Play some five-finger fillet.
Yeah, true. 12 years ago, that's probably the highlight of the Wild West. You could get away with anything probably back then. So
12 years. It only took 12 years for a law system to be put in place.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Have
Well,
you?
time flies. 12 years to go. Now they got trains and stuff. Well, they had trains
They
back then.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had trains back then. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Have you heard of For Honor?
Yeah, I have, actually. Do you like For Honor?
Is it out?
Yeah, For Honor's out.
Oh, wow. It came out last year.
Yeah. The game with the samurai swords
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. I was really excited to play it, and then I forgot that it was a thing until right now. And it looks pretty. What even do you do in that game?
I think you just fight with swords.
Isn't it like it's samurai, Vikings, and knights, right? In like a all-out battle.
Something like that. I didn't know if there were Vikings in that. But they're definitely knights, right? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
knights and samurais and maybe Vikings, pirates and stuff. I don't know.
Pirates.
I like it though. I like the idea of For Honor. But was the execution right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Because I sure as hell didn't buy it and or play it.
Yeah, that's correct. Have you ever played Dishonored?
Dishonored. I've heard of it and I may have played it, but I don't play a lot of video games.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The first one, 2 is all right.
Did you play Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I did. I played Watch Dogs.
That's the game where you hack stuff while you're driving around and stuff.
I played the first one. I didn't play 2.
Neither did I, but I downloaded it off of a site that was totally legal, and I had all the proper paperwork. I didn't do it illegally, I promise.
Okay.
I downloaded it, and then I played it, and I wasn't really too thrilled about it.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Maybe I mean I was playing it on my computer. Maybe if I had a controller in my hands, it would have been better. It was just there was a lot going on, and the hacking gimmick got pretty old pretty quickly.
Yeah. It was all right. Once again, good idea, but was the execution there? You know? Assassin's Creed Origins is a great game, though, and I like the fact that they added a historical mode. Is that what they call it? There's a mode where you can just view the landscape and get facts from the game itself about the area, and because the game takes place in like Egypt. Yeah, so you can walk around and get like actual real life historical facts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yo, did you hear about? Did you see Google's keynote keynote presentation?
No, what's the keynote? Is it a new?
There's a new Android OS coming out that might already be out, the beta, and like, I have no idea if this was ever a thing before, but I watched the speech yesterday, and you could like take a picture of something like a book, and then you could copy and paste sentences from the book and then save them to your phone, which is insane to me. It recognizes the words, and then you could
from the book?
Yeah, you take a picture, and then you can copy and paste from the picture the words and sentences in the book and save it to your phone.
That's crazy.
And also the new, you know how you say, hey, okay, Google, and then you could like Google stuff or ask your phone to do something? Yeah, and then you, now you could say, hey, make a hair appointment for me, and then it'll make a phone call, and it doesn't sound like Siri or Alexa. It sounds like an actual person talking, like the nuances of casual conversation. It'll, like, if I was the voice of the Google voice robot that could make phone calls for you, it would sound like, hey, can I order a pizza? And then the person would say, sure, what address? And I would say, blah, blah, blah. This is my address. I'll have a large pepperoni pizza, please. And then they'll say, cool, that'll be $15.25. It'll be 25 minutes. And then the person would say, okay, thank you. And then the other person would hang up, and then that would be it. It would sound like a person.
That's crazy.
It's wild, right?
That's really crazy.
Yeah, you should look that up and watch it. It's insane.
So it's AI, right? It's
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, but it's ordering a pizza for you, and they've mapped it out to where it sounds like.
It sounds like how we're talking to each other right now.
But does it sound like you yourself? Or
No,
does
it sounds like just a random voice.
Okay, just a random voice, but it still sounds real, and it can understand what somebody says to them on the phone.
Yeah, and then there was one where they called the order from a Chinese restaurant just to show off that it could expect and then interpret an accent, no matter how heavy. So imagine ordering Mingwok and you were a robot, and being able to understand what she says just normally.
What if they go, please hold?
They say, okay.
And it holds. And then when you go, all right, and then it'll take your order.
And they say, you still there? And then the robot would go, yep, still here.
Wow, that's insane.
It's wild, dude. It's fucking crazy.
So this was Google's next move. Huh?
Oh, yeah. You could take a picture of a black and white photo and add the color to it.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I thought that Google Assistant was crazy when you could highlight stuff on your phone and it would automatically bring it up in the bottom bar and you could Google that, what I mean? Like you could highlight a word.
Yeah, it's that, but like times 100.
That's crazy. And it's coming out on their new phone?
The new OS.
The new OS. The new Google OS?
It's an Android OS.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I could be wrong.
The new overall Android OS?
It's
I'm pretty sure Android is Google, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they're one and the same. Yeah,
It's called Android Oreo.
Oreo. Yeah, that's gonna be insane. Android 8, is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah, 8.0.
Yeah, that's really interesting, honestly.
And there was this other cool thing where with like maps, if you were trying to navigate and you were walking,
Hmm.
you could have your it's like Pokemon Go. You could see like with your camera, you're seeing everything, and then like little notes will pop up and tell you what things are. Like this is a historical monument. This is a pizza restaurant. Go here, and they'll give you like the Yelp reviews and everything. And if you're lost, a little computer fox comes, and he gives you hints on where to go,
Really?
and you follow him around. Yeah, he guides you to where you need to be.
That's pretty crazy. That's wow. The internet has come such a far way from when we were growing up with it. You know, I hate to say, I hate to say we're old because we're kind of young. You know,
We're old enough.
yeah. You know, I'm only 21, but I feel like the internet that we have today is definitely not the internet that I grew up with as a kid.
Yeah, dude, we're the generation that grew up without smartphones. The last generation that grew up without smartphones.
That's really wild to me. Like, you know, I'm trying to wrap my head around this newest technology, and all these
Like,
kids today
yeah.
are like, you know what I mean?
I was a
Like,
teenager when I got my first iPod Touch, before I even got a smartphone.
it almost made it more special, you know, but to get it when you were a teenager.
Because like you lived through the struggle of having to play your original Game Boy by the light of street lamps as your parents drove down the highway.
Right?
You just got that like blink of Tetris in before the next street light,
Right?
and now you have fucking power banks and brightness adjusters on your phone, so you could just turn up the brightness and plug in your phone when it's dying.
Fast chargers? What are fast chargers? I don't remember that. when I was
Lightning
growing-
charger.
Yeah, lightning charger, lightning cable. The cable itself is lightning.
While we're at it, let's get rid of the aux port.
Yeah, like, wow. That's some crazy stuff. USB-C? Like, jeez. I never thought there was going to be another type of USB.
Sorry.
Nah. That's really crazy, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy technological advances going on in the world today. Tesla, that's a really crazy how he's trying to make the Tesla affordable. What, $30,000?
That's really affordable.
Yeah, for the newest Tesla they're trying to come out with. But can Tesla do what Henry Ford did, essentially? You know, mass produce a car
He invented the
affordable.
assembly line, right?
to America. Henry Ford, yeah, and he invented the Model T.
That's crazy.
And Tesla's trying to do the same thing, but with, you know, electrical cars. He's trying to revolutionize the world. I mean, if you
Yeah.
ask me, he's single-handedly dragging us into the future.
Yeah, he's doing it by himself, essentially.
Yeah.
He is heading this huge operation. He's sending cars to space for God knows why.
Yeah, right?
Commercial space travel, who needs it? But electric cars is what's going to save the planet from
He's got a
utter
brother.
destruction.
He's got a brother who just came out and said that they're developing an oven that cooks food for you. All you have to do is prep the food and put it in the oven, and the oven does the rest. Like,
That's
I
what-
guess you don't even got to check. Like,
That's what an oven is, though.
Yeah.
That's what an oven does already.
but I mean, like, it's supposed to regulate the temperature of the food for you and stuff too, so
Okay.
it doesn't get burnt.
So
or
you don't have to
something
like put on a timer.
that. Yeah, essentially.
You say, "Okay, Google, I put a pork roast in this smart oven," and she'll say, "Gotcha."
Yeah.
And then the oven will turn off, and you could just walk in and see that the oven's off, and you go, oh, "Pork's done."
Something like that, exactly. It regulates the temperature, makes sure that the pork is 165
Yeah, but then,
degrees
like-
so that it's cooked all the way before, you know? I
Then
don't know.
It's just like people aren't gonna know how to cook more than they already don't know.
Yeah,
People don't know how to cook, and it drives me crazy.
it's an essential
It's
skill.
so
I
easy.
feel like cooking is something that needs to be taught more because it really is an essential skill to survival.
Yeah, like if your mom's cooking for you every night and you have no idea how to cook, and then you turn 20 and you're moving out first you go to college for 4 years and you live off of McDonald's and instant ramen for that amount of time, and then you're 24, 25 on your own in an apartment, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to cook because you can't cook, and that's shitty.
Yeah, that's like the worst scenario to be in, and most people are in that scenario. Yeah, cooking is an essential skill. That should be something that people, you know.
It should be taught in school.
Yeah, I mean it is in on some level, but it isn't really like taught enough.
I mean, we had a cooking section in home ec, home and careers in 7th grade.
Yeah, but it's like 7 people cooking one pan of egg.
You like you group up with like 4 different people, and make an egg, and then you watch your teacher make it, and then you eat part of hers because she doesn't trust you to make eggs properly because you're only 12.
I think a 12-year-old should be able to cook eggs.
Oh yeah, for sure. It shouldn't be like I had to cook for my little sister because mom wouldn't. That's the only reason I know how to cook, because that's horrible.
Yeah,
You should be taught, and you shouldn't have to learn how to cook through necessity only.
exactly. Yeah, I feel like it's one or the other, you know what I mean? Like, you either spoiled and you don't need to cook at all, or it's like, oh, I need to cook for my other 3 siblings, because, you know.
No one else will.
Yeah. It's messed up. There should be a middle ground.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, that second scenario should never happen in a perfect world.
Yeah. There should be some kind of middle ground where it's like, oh, well, you're old enough to cook, so you just should. You know what I mean?
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. You just should. That's our tagline for our first sponsor. Listen to our podcast. You just should.
You just should.
Did you know that we're sending a helicopter to Mars in 2020?
No, that's soon. No, I didn't know that either. Wow, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. What do we hope to accomplish with that? What's the whole deal with sending a helicopter to Mars? Selling.
Oh, wait, hold on. Its design team spent more than 4 years shrinking a working helicopter into the size of a softball and cutting its weight to 4 pounds. So it's not an Apache helicopter. It's the first test of a heavier than air aircraft on another planet.
It's like a buzzard
A buzzard?
from GTA 4.
Like a gyrocopter? It's the size of a softball.
Oh, that's even smaller.
It's like a
So
drone.
it's like a
drone that you could buy at Radio Shack for your kid.
That's crazy. That's some crazy stuff. Man. Can you believe this whole Chris Brown thing? No. That's really crazy to me.
Chris Brown is a shifty motherfucker.
Yeah, I gotta say, man.
Wasn't he in the news like 2 or 3 years ago for like having mad illegal guns in his house?
Yeah,
That was the thing,
something like
right?
That was a thing. He got his ex-girlfriend has a 5-year restraining order against him or something like that.
He beat the shit out of Rihanna
Yeah,
in a
There's-
car, so she couldn't escape. He was driving the car.
there's that whole thing going on there, but people always there's stipulation that Rihanna hit him first or whatever the case is. But the thing is, Seabreezy's just got too much. He's got too much legal action being taken against him at any point in time.
I think there's an appropriate amount of legal action being taken against him. He's a maniac.
But you know what I mean? Like, by too much, like, as a celebrity, as an artist, as a role model.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
Too much for a person
Yeah, like,
of any notable viewpoint. This would be too much for me.
it's like every 4 to 6 months we're hearing something about Chris Brown. And I think he's an incredibly talented dude.
Oh yeah, he's
Successful.
mad talented.
He
But,
came
like,
out very young, and a lot of people hopped on the style that he was doing. But whatever Chris Brown's going through right now, he's gotta go through that and fall back, stay out of the spotlight for a bit, because people aren't really trying to help him. People are trying to see him fall.
But like, has he ever done something that to like redeem himself, to prove that he's trying to be a better person?
Um, you know what? I think on some level he did. I think there was that um, big performance where he came out and he was crying when he was performing stuff. It was really powerful. It's that you can't deny him of his talent. It's just that we expect better from someone like that, and
Like people always say that.
we want him to uplift the community. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to be reading about Chris Brown, you know, having all these lawsuits against him, or him getting in trouble with this girl, or him cheating on his girlfriend, or all these stereotypes that he's just living up to.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about celebrities' actions being blown out of proportion because they're in the public eye, but there's a turning point to that conversation when those things are like they should be held accountable, because he's not like speeding or getting a DUI, which is still very bad.
Yeah,
He's like he has rape and like sex party. Chris Brown's legal team responds to sex party and rape lawsuit. Like,
yeah.
that's not.
And I don't want to be the one to make assumptions because until the case has been presented in front of a jury and tried,
Yeah,
I
of
can't
course.
say but
But like it's hard to.
it just doesn't look too good.
You become the asshole if you say that didn't happen,
Yeah,
because then you sound like you're just saying that because you like his music.
exactly. And it was the big brother thing that I always say. How many times does a celebrity need to do something wrong before you go, that's wrong? How many times does your big brother need to commit a crime before you take somebody else's word over his?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with celebrities.
Wasn't was it Chris Brown who got his music taken off of a streaming service? Was it Spotify? Hold on. Let me do some
I know they're
research.
trying to do something like that. The RCA, they're trying to petition against him for that right now. I'm not gonna lie. I think Chris Brown's one of the most talented musicians that have ever came out in our generation, and you can clearly see that there's certain things that are troubling him. He's going through it his own way, but I want to see Chris Brown succeed. I don't want to see him fail, to be honest with you. And right now, what we're looking at could be a failure.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a sensitive time, especially to be tried with a rape trial or something like that. Like look at what just happened to Bill Cosby, and look at this whole Me Too movement. Rape is a very sensitive subject, and
because it should be.
yeah, that's what I mean. Rape is a very sensitive subject,
Yeah.
and it would be wrong to say it didn't happen. So the way that people have to move about it today is they have to take this with the utmost seriousness.
Oh, yeah.
And that's unfortunate for someone like Chris Brown. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate. You know what I'm telling
I mean, of course, it's going to be unfortunate for the person being accused.
you? I
But
mean,
like, if the rapist is a rapist, he should be accused and then tried as a rapist.
that's what I mean. Like, this is a time where, maybe there was a time 40 or 50 years ago where people would laugh it off or it would never get too far. But we live in the modern era today where things are different. Racism is on. It's dying down. It's not on the upswing. It's on the downswing. And is that what you would call it? Downswing?
I would say it's reached
Maybe it's plateaued racism.
plateaued is a good word for it, because I wouldn't say that it's decreasing or increasing. The whole Donald Trump thing is.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to call it a step back, but I'm not going to call it a step
But the
forward.
thing with Trump that people don't see is, I'm somebody who likes to look in the future, and I believe that
you
Trump
can do that.
is, yeah, I can see beyond. No, I believe that Trump is somebody that is trying to use people like him. I don't know if he's necessarily racist, but people who grew up in an era like him, people as old as him that are racist, that are living in the 40s or whatnot. He's trying to gather all those people that are afraid of the America that is dying, because that America's dying. We had a president like Obama for 8 years straight, and we saw a lot of crazy things happen. We saw a lot of pro-black things start to happen, and I believe that regardless if Trump is racist or not, that he saw that America was dying, that white supremacy America is going to not be here in another 40 years. And so he went, this is how I'm going to win. I'm going to get all these powerful old, white supremacists to be on my side, and I'm going to bring that fear,
Yeah.
I'm going to make America great again, which is a very loose slogan, like what does that mean? It can mean anything.
What does it mean to be great?
Yeah, like
It's up to whoever's listening to that's interpretation.
Yeah, so like that's
Because
what I mean.
a Ku Klux Klan member could hear that and be like, I know what my great America is.
Exactly, the America before, all this stuff. So, I just think that that was the position that he played. And
So you're saying that he's playing to a demographic, and he's not necessarily part of that demographic.
he could be, he could not be. I don't know. I just know that that was the movement. That was more powerful than he knew.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, he knew for a fact that that would be more powerful than any minority group in America, because those type of groups have a lot of power. They've had power since the beginning of the day. They have money. They have political representation more so than a lot of these groups that are, pro-black or trying to represent the minority of America,
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's Trump, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. But what do you think about Trump meeting with Kim Jong Un in Singapore in June?
it's gonna be very interesting. I can't really speak on their relationship. I have no idea what kind of relationship they have together. I know that relations between North Korea and the U.S. have been tight lately, but things are starting to change with this whole South Korea unification for the first time in about 70 or so years, right?
Yeah, it ended the Korean War.
Yeah, like, I have no idea what could go on at that meeting there. I have no idea what kind of deal they're going to be discussing.
Yeah, it's going to be either the beginning of a new world or the end of the current world.
Yeah.
It's
like,
either going to go really good or really bad, or who knows, it could go nowhere.
it's,
but,
it's history. It's something
Oh,
we've
yeah,
never
it's-
been able to speculate on because we've never seen something like this happen in our lifetime. Right?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge for us because we live in America, and North Korea has been a huge has had a huge media presence in recent, like the past 5 or 6 years. The whole Kim Jong Il thing, and now he died, and now it's Kim Jong Un, even funnier looking fella.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird place. Like you hear that like they're starving, they're struggling, they have no idea what's going on in the outside world. Or maybe that's just propaganda that's being fed to us and it's a thriving place. But who knows? Because we can't get in.
Yeah, we won't know until they sort this mess out.
I think it would be cool. Maybe, do you think we'll see a united Korea in our lifetime?
That's a really tough question. I don't know. I really don't know if Korea would even want to go that far after all this time. That's a lot of damage to be undone. It's almost like two opposite sides. Like South Korea is way different from North Korea. To mesh those two cultures together now in the modern age, I think that would be very difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
Like very, very difficult for those two
I don't know the percentages of how much their culture varies, but I do know that there's a big percentage of families that got split.
Yeah, there's a
Like
lot of
the-
people that wish they could see one another.
Yeah, so like
That's true.
just by the nature of that being a fact, I imagine that a united Korea wouldn't be too much of a stretch. But what do I know? You know?
You're right. When you look at the civilians and the families, it might be a great thing. But looking at it by the government. I don't know how they're going to be able to come to a middle ground, especially when people in North Korea view Kim Jong Un as a god of some sort. You know?
But like, is that even
True.
true?
True.
Because like I feel like our generation is another generation of like movers and shakers that just like to not believe everything they see at first sight, unless we know people that are like that just because we live in small town America, USA, up here in upstate New York, and we went to high school with some fake hillbillies and some really radical right people. I was never imagined to see that in New York, but maybe my worldview is just skewed. Because New York is a blue state, right?
Yeah. Actually, New York is more Republican than you think.
Really?
I believe it's a blue state, but a lot of the policies. I mean, it's the Empire State, man.
But like, we have Ellis Island.
True.
The biggest influx of immigrants ever.
I think New York has changed. I did it again.
It's so high definition when you pour that Coca-Cola into that stack of plastic cups.
You can almost taste it, right?
Yeah. Refreshing. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not sponsored. You're right. Look it up. Let's. Can you look that up?
New York is
Liberal, right?
trending Democratic.
Democratic, blue, right?
It used to be considered a swing state, but it had a slight Democratic lean for a very long time.
Okay.
Like, my grandpa is super Republican.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like New York is more Republican than you think. Like, people portray it as a blue state, but is it really?
I mean, maybe the whole north-south thing is skewing with my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. What were we talking about before with New York? Pyongyang? Kim Jong-un? How'd we get to New York?
We were talking about Kim Jong-un and
Do you think he'd ever come to New York?
South Korea.
Kim Jong-un's coming to Trump Tower, for sure.
That would be really weird. That would be a life changer. We need to see more people other than Dennis Rodman in North Korea.
I want to meet Kim Jong-un.
You do? You want
Yeah.
to shake his hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Do you think he'd kill me?
No. Do you think he'd hate you secretly?
Maybe.
You know, that's a big
I think
thing.
I'm a
Is
pretty
like,
likable guy.
do these world leaders that we have today have the ability to forgive and forget, move on?
Everyone's ancient, dude. Everyone was around when World War II was happening.
Yeah, like what?
Well, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like there's a lot of. I mean, look at the Supreme Court justices. They're fucking ancient. They're so fucking old. And you think their opinions are so easily swayed? You don't think they're set in their ways yet? Are you talking world leaders, like leaders of countries on a global scale?
Yeah.
I mean, we got Justin Trudeau in Canada, right? Prime Minister. I know, yeah, I mean, once we get a new queen in England, how old is she? How old is the Queen of England?
Oh, she is pretty old. She is old. The Queen of
She's
England is good, though.
92.
Yes, she
Holy
is pretty
shit.
old. But
How long has she been queen? She was born into it, right? She was a princess. She had to have been.
for a long time.
I think it would be cool to have a king. That would be cool in modern times to have a king.
A king. A czar.
That just sounds
We
cool.
need a czar.
To be a king.
To be a king. The king of America? Yeah, that sounds way better than president of the United States.
Yeah, the current queen became the longest reigning British monarch on the 9th of September 2015 when she surpassed the reign of her great-great-grandmother Victoria. She became the first British monarch to celebrate a Sapphire Jubilee commemorating 65 years on the throne.
That is
That's-
incredible.
dude,
Can we get a?
are
can
you
we get
kidding
can we
me?
get a clapping? You got the clap sound effect for
hold
that?
on, hold on.
I
Oh
need-
no, hold on.
We need the clap sound effect for that. That is amazing, folks.
I lost it. Here it is.
That is amazing.
That's not it.
Come on, what is that?
Here it is.
That's what it is. Give it up for
Congrats,
the Queen.
Queen Elizabeth II, for 62 years, 65 years on the throne.
That is.
Hope you had fun at your
incredible.
Sapphire Jubilee.
That is incredible. I mean,
That's fucking whack. People had a.
That's
Hmm.
dude. I'm 21. 65 years. Wow. I can't even begin to imagine. And for the most part, people love her. She is
Yeah,
the Queen of England.
but like.
Very influential.
She's been in power for the past 65 years, yet the American public had a conniption when FDR was president from 1933 to 1945. That's what, 12 years, 3 terms?
Yeah.
That's nothing compared. That's a sixth of what the Queen did. And they're doing okay, from what I know, which is not much. I do not know much about how things are going in England.
Yeah. I don't know. I think FDR though.
FDR was cool as hell.
I think he was. Yeah, that's what I mean. He was trying to prove a point. You know, the American system needed some kind of.
He had
limit.
so many teeth.
He needed.
They were huge.
They needed a limit, though. You know, really, like, you got to limit how long someone can be president.
Do you think we refrained from having a queen because we separated from England?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we refrained from that whole political system because we separated from England, and then American time found its own. We were like, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna do this.
Do you think having a 4 and then a potential 8-year term is better than having a queen or a king
Now that one
or a
is-
royal family?
That's tough. That one's really tough. You see, the thing about America, it's supposed to be the land of opportunity. Anyone is supposed to be able to become president. Anyone is supposed to be able to live the American dream. And if we had a royal family or king or queen, stuff like that, no one would really be able to do that because you would need to be born into it.
Yeah, it would be limited to the family.
Yeah.
And I mean, being a part of a family seems a lot more possible than having the money and experience to be a politician. But, like, I don't know. Being in a royal family seems kind
It'd
of...
be dope, dude. If I was in a royal family, I'd be designered out, dude. I'm talking Gucci all day.
It would be...
Armani.
It'd be cool, but, like, you'd never be a normal person ever again. Look what happened to Kanye.
Well, like, he wasn't born royalty, though. Like, I'm talking born royalty. I'm talking, like, I'm 7 years old.
If it's
and a
all you
butler
knew.
walks in a room and he's like, you want some grilled cheese? And I'm like, yeah. I'm talking like that. Here are 3 suits we've pressed out for you today.
I don't want to wear any of them.
Yeah.
Get me long johns.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
I think, I don't know, but people don't really look at it like once you become the president of the United States, your family's pretty much American royalty forever as well, you know? Like, you can't be the grandson of George W. Bush and not be getting,
I don't know his
like,
name.
respect. Yeah, but you don't need to know his name. He's still, like, a royalty. Like, my granddad is George
Yeah,
W.
but, like,
Bush.
I don't think they're set for life, though.
You don't think that...
The president gets paid less than professional sports players.
Yeah, but
They
he's
get a
the-
lifelong salary, but,
He's
like...
the president of the United States. That grandson can go to any college he wants to. He can do anything he wants to. If he gets arrested, nothing bad's going to happen to him
Yeah.
because his granddad was the president, you know? His granddad still probably lives with Secret Service and stuff like that because after you're president, they don't just put you out on the street. Anyone would be able to kill a former president then, you know?
Yeah.
You still have to be, like, mysterious. Like, no one can ever really know what you're doing for the rest of your life. So your family has to be set on some level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you know, like
You're right. I want to be king of Morocco in my lifetime.
Oh wow, that'd be pretty cool.
It's I just looked up the how many royal families there are in the world. There's 26 monarchies. Up, the power's flickering. Hope we're okay. So just gonna hit with a nuke. Hope we're okay. Not I'm talking about Muhammad VI of Morocco. That's not how I want to go out.
He got hit with a nuke?
No,
Is
he's been the king for the past 19 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's OD.
He's balling. Putin's balling. How he keeps playing the system.
Putin's balling, but he's
We know he's a crook.
he's a bad guy.
Yeah,
He's
a
villain.
Bond villain.
He's a villain.
He's a straight up James Bond villain, like super villain. Not even. You know, he's something we couldn't even have imagined.
He's something, that guy.
I appreciate Putin for that, though.
He doesn't care.
He defines the modern antagonist for America.
He doesn't care.
Like we need that. We need that perfect yang. If America is yin, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't call America yin.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
But, like,
if that's why I said if. He's
Global
that
superpowers,
perfect,
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's that perfect.
And China's
opposite,
just sitting there like, come on.
opposite of what America represents. And
Getting the bread line.
I can't say who's right or wrong because they both make moves that are right at times. That's what makes them so powerful. It's just like pick your poison. IMO, you know?
I think Russia needs a new leader. Putin needs to get out. How long has he been
Look it up. He's
king,
good.
king of Russia?
It's how those people end up missing or dead. The people who try to oppose him.
Oh my
He
goodness.
doesn't say anything, but we all know what happened.
You better be strong-willed if you are running against Putin in the primaries.
Yeah. You better be good. He's a strong world leader, though. You can't knock that. Putin has definitely made Russia a lot stronger than most people could have.
Yeah, but he's the richest guy in the world.
Because he owns Russia?
Yeah, pretty much. All of the money in Russia is his.
Yeah. But what he's doing with it is coming up with hypersonic missiles and shit.
Yeah, they're unstoppable, apparently.
Yeah.
No defense system can stop this new missile.
James Bond type submarines and shit.
Was that you? I was talking about the Victory Day parade.
No. What's
Yeah.
the Victory Day parade? What's
The
that?
Victory Day parade is something that they have in Russia when it's the day that the Germans gave up, surrendered in World War II, and they celebrate it every year. And this year they had like the I don't know the names of the titles or the names of the people in charge of many countries, but the leader of Israel was there, and he was like, Putin was showing off his new missile, and they were talking about how they basically just shit-talked America the whole time, and they were just, because this was right around the time when Trump pulled out of the Iran deal, and they said, man, I wish I had the quote up, something along, they were just shit-talking America, saying that we're all talk and no action, stuff like that.
That's just not the truth. America's all about the action.
How are we doing on time?
Doing pretty good, if you ask me. We're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more topic.
Yeah, man.
What did you think of Childish Gambino's new music video?
Incredible. If I had to pick one word to describe it, incredible.
I wasn't a big fan of the song. I'll say that. But I am a big fan of the music video.
I would have to hear how the song fits into the album,
Yeah.
honestly. you know. But
I hope
the
it's
music
more.
video's great.
I hope it's more like his older stuff than "Awaken My Love." That was the name of the last album, right?
Gambino's a good shit talker, and he's got mad shit to talk on this album. I know he has been eating for a while, and I'll be damned if he ain't gonna talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, come on, how could he not? Come on.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
It's gonna be some incredible bars, and it's like you
Man, I
can't
hope
take it
so.
from him because it's the truth. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Gambino for that one.
The "This Is America" video. It's chock full of allegories and symbolism for what's going on today in America. Like all this chaos happening in the background as he dances and sings, and like all these little school children are behind him dancing along with these trendy new dances, as if these viral dances are a way to, you know, suppress or normalize what's going on. Make it that much easier to move on, move along. You know,
Yeah,
it's almost like you could put a dance to the latest police shooting, stuff like that. Like you could say, oh yeah, that dance was going on during that month where that horrible thing happened, and then a month goes by, new dance, new horrible thing. But which one are you going to remember more? The names of the people that died, or how to do this dance?
the song made talking about the people who died. Probably, right? Yeah, it was really deep and eye-opening. It is America on some level.
Yeah, I mean, it does a thing where not everybody goes out of their way to do research about what's going on. But when someone like Childish drops this new song after a long time without dropping music, without dropping a rap album, it's going to get a lot of views. And he's made a name for himself in comedy and SNL, and he has that show Atlanta and music, and his did I ever say comedy? He has stand-up comedy.
You did.
Netflix.
Definitely already said that.
He has a big following. He has a big soapbox to stand on, and this was his move, and I respect it immensely. It was really well done.
Yep. Childish Gambino is on the come up once again. Can he be stopped?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But that being said, it looks like we're coming up on an hour here, and I just want to say thank you for listening. This has been the Perfect Strangers podcast on a Friday night, getting nice and cozy. This is Paul and my co-host Anthony signing off.
Yep. I hope everybody has a good night, and I hope you all enjoy your weekend. Don't work too hard.
See you later.